Hey, what's going on? It's Gunthug here, and the new season of PSL, and with that, obviously, is going to come me, kind of ranting over a replay of a Diamond Platinum Pearl match. So, I do this not at this point. It's not really informative. I mean, the things that I'm saying here are not going to be groundbreaking. Anyone who actually takes the time to watch these videos probably already knows what they're doing even more so than I do when it comes to Gen 4. But really, I just, it's a super interesting gen. I know people bitch about some of the mechanics and, obviously two times crits, flinches, things of that nature are annoying. But it's just a great gen. I don't know. I think the balance of it is just what astonishes me. I mean, you have so many options at your disposal when it comes to team building. I truly think stall is viable. I truly think balance is viable. And I truly think that hyper offense, bulky offense are viable as well. And that's what I love about Gen 4. If I could just learn to crack stall, that would be a totally, I would probably like the gen even more. But all right, so enough stalling here. We'll go ahead and get into my match. I'm going to do my match only because it's the most fresh in my mind. The other two matches were not the best matches in the entire world, or at least they had massive mistakes in them that I think kind of tarnished the matches themselves. So I figured I could rattle off a pretty quick commentary on this one, just kind of get the ball rolling. I also don't have a lot of time to be able to do this, as I've told people I can only do this on my iMac, and I'm only near my iMac 2 days a week. So, all right, we'll jump into it. And first, I lead with a Flygon. He leads with a Lucario. Immediately, my concern was I don't know. I mean, I don't think a lot of people lead with choiced Lucario, only because, and by the way, notice how I'm pronouncing that. I just want to say I've come a long way. All right, it's PSL 9. It was about time I learned how to pronounce this damn Pokemon's name. So uh, I wasn't expecting a choiced set because the problem with choiced leads, if they don't have a momentum move like U-turn, it leaves you wide open on the first turn. To where if I were to and I do switch out here, I ended up switching out. Um, it leaves him wide open. So let's say he's choiced, okay? Let's say he's choiced any close combats and I go to a ghost. All of a sudden, he's on the back heel. He's forfeited all of his momentum. I just thought it was risky. My guess is, and as we'll see later in the match, I think he's probably sashed, focus sash. And lead Lucario with a focus sash isn't bad because it can fire off a powerful move, a close combat, a crunch, and then it can often run into sashed leads of its own, but it has extreme speed, so it has the priority to then take out something where Sash triggers. So, for example, it crunches in a Zelf that sets Stealth Rocks and then extreme speeds it, so that's all it gets to do. Or maybe a Zelf taunts or does something stupid, I don't know. But this is not a bad lead, but I was pretty certain that it was not choiced. So I felt comfortable U-turning, whereas, I will say, generally, I run Adamant Scarfed Flygon because I just like the extra power. That leaves me technically slower than a Jolly Scarfed Lucario. So it was a little bit in the back of my mind. He might be Scarfed and Ice Punch here, but I figured I could bounce out U-turn. I'm going to bounce out to my Starmie, which I have a bulkier Starmie here. It's actually, I believe, max speed and then max HP, something along those lines. Also, I just want to say Osgood, this is Osgood's team. Osgood, as you recently know, he ran that crazy team in PSL or SPL. That was the talk of the town a couple weeks ago. He constructed this team, gave it to Nick. Nick gave it to me, and I've been loving it on the ladder. So I use this. The Starmie is really cool because it comes with Blizzard, which meshes really well with the Abomasnow that you're going to see here later steal the show. So I go to Lucario. I'm able to tank his close combat pretty well, 32%. I'm going to go to Skarmory here, thinking maybe he's going to go for a crunch. And if he goes for a crunch, then that's going to leave me an opportunity to set up spikes. Instead, he goes to Empoleon. The last thing I want to do, and I'll go back to this briefly, the last thing I want to do to an Empoleon is let him set up a sub. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and Whirlwind here, even taking the risk that he might Hydro Pump and take out a huge portion of my life. He does not. He goes to Zapdos. I get a good Whirlwind. I get a good Scout. I don't know why he stays in here. I will say I don't think that Machamp, I mean, certainly Machamp can 1v1 a Skarmory. It's possible if you get lucky, but I think more often than not, it's not going to be in your best interest to do this. I think more often than not, you're going to lose this confusion battle, and you're just not going to be able to do enough damage to a max defense Skarmory, I'm able to accomplish two huge things here. I'm able to, and watch him predict the switch to a Starmie or something like that, or a Ghost, and that goes wrong for him. I'm able to snap out of confusion and take 70% of his Machamp's health away and lay a set of spikes. Now, anyone who's played Gen 4 knows that Machamp is unbelievably scary. You got 100% accuracy dynamic punch coming off stab. It's unbelievably scary, so any chance I can get... And also, another thing about Machamp, it's incredibly bulky. So, you know, it's very hard to one-hit KO. So a chance to put him in one-hit KO range for pretty much any of my other Pokemon was very clutch. Also notice the speed on Skarmory. I am doing that to outspeed Machamps, and things like, you know, Blissey and Breloom. There's other mods that it's worth it to run that speed on Skarmory for. So I did get a Brave Bird off. This would have been really cool to catch him here with another layer of spikes, but instead I hit myself again. But I'm fine with that because I'm leaving myself this Skarmory to potentially sack later. And it's just nice in Gen 4 especially to just have a Pokemon that's hanging around that you can sack. Or potentially, since I outspeed Machamp and a Bullet Punch wouldn't kill me, I could take the rest of him out. So I go to Heatran. You can see it's especially bulky Heatran because it doesn't really care about that Thunderbolt from Zapdos. Looks like 25% with lefties. It's nothing. He's going to go Empoleon here, letting me set up rocks. And at this point, I'm thinking he probably doesn't have any sort of hazard control. I can't see Fortress or Starmie fitting on this team all that well. He's just got a lot of electric weaknesses. I'm thinking maybe another ground type coming up here at some point. But I'm not too worried about hazard removal, so I don't need to be over aggressive with my spin blocker, which as you'll see soon here coming up. I'm going to go back to Starmie. I'm thinking he's probably got Grass Knot. And the reason I know he's got Grass Knot, okay? Empoleon has a wide variety of moves it can run. But the reason I think he has Grass Knot is that he switched in fearlessly to a Starmie earlier in the match. And you usually don't do that with Empoleon, knowing that Starmies often run Thunderbolt, unless you have something that's going to slap Starmie back. So I was pretty certain he had Grass Knot, and I go to Aboma and scout it out, and sure enough, he does have Grass Knot. Now, I have to be careful here, because some Empoleons don't run agility, they don't run anything, but they just run all attacks. And a Flash Cannon from Empoleon is going to really dent an Abomasnow. But I'm going to stay in, he's going to go to Metagross, and I'll get some seeds down. You know, this is going to prove to kind of be his demise. I mean, with hazards on the field, you really can't afford to be dancing around Leech Seed like the way that he does. I go for a Protect here. I really should have gone for another Seed, but I was worried he was going to Meteor Mash there and try not to bounce around on these hazards. He does go to Zap, and he doubles here to Lucario. It was a good double, a very good double. He knew Heatran was coming. And so this kind of puts me on my back foot. I believe I go to Starmie again, knowing Starmie can tank the close combat. At this point, I wasn't 100% sure whether or not he was... At this point, I'm still thinking, well, maybe he's choiced. Maybe he's running some sort of band set or something. But he does turn out to be sashed, or at least something that's not locking him into moves because he E-speeds. I'm thinking, fine, Starmie did its job. I don't see him getting hazards up anytime soon. I'd probably Stealth Rock Empoleon if I had to guess, but he's not getting hazards up anytime soon. Zapdos is going to take care of Starmie. You've got, you know, Metagross. Metagross probably bulky enough to take another Starmie hit. It doesn't have a special attack, so I figured I could afford to get rid of lose Starmie there, especially knowing I could then come in with Flygon, force him out. You know, I really thought that he would predict a U-turn here because I thought Zapdos was probably the most likely switch in. I don't know if maybe he thought maybe a Fire Blast was going to come, but he goes to Empoleon. That gives me all the momentum I need, and all of a sudden he's back to having to dance around Leech Seed. So extremely ill-advised Ice Beam there. Aboma is incredibly bulky, rarely run without bulk, and you're just not... I don't know if he was trying to freeze me or what he was trying to do there. He's not staying in with Empoleon on Aboma. I know to Leech again. That's going to take another huge chunk of Metagross's health, who is on borrowed time right now with two hazards down. He's going to go to Lucario at this point. I think I bounced to Heatran again here. I don't know if he was predicting me to go to Heatran or if he was just getting rid of the seeds. But anyways, he switched far too many times there for having this many hazards down. He's going to go Lucario. At this point, I figured I could probably have protected there with Heatran. and chipped a little bit more, but I didn't want to risk that he was carrying some ridiculous sword stance or something like that. So I go to Gengar, unrevealed ghost at this point, probably not expecting me to have it, and he doesn't. He goes close combat. I then calc this. I was really concerned because the only two attacking moves I had on Gengar were Focus Blast and Shadow Ball. I ended up calcing whether a Shadow Ball would kill, and it does, I think, 26 to 35% or something like that, just barely killing unless I get a horrible, horrible roll. So a Shadow Ball would have killed there. Instead, he's going to sack Machamp, which tells me he's obviously not running Custap, and that's why I like Custap Machamp over Leftovers Machamp, is Custap gets a really good free... I mean, look at my team right here. If he fires off a Dynamic Punch off a Custap, that's going to have a very good chance to do some damage to my team. So he then goes to Kingdra. I'm thinking, okay, you got a Kingdra that you're revealing 6th in this game, okay? This is going to be some sort of setup Kingdra. And because you're probably feeling a little desperate right now, you got 1, 2, 3 of your Mons in low health and a Zapdos that's not getting through my Heatran, you're probably thinking, all right, let's time to sweep, all right? So I'm going to bust out a Taunt, and I think at this point I feel pretty safe about taunting, especially at 100% health. Even if he fires off a Surf, I don't think it's going to kill me. So I thought it felt pretty safe with a taunt there. I get him, catch him trying to use Rain Dance. That's going to really put a damper in his plans here. As you see, Draco's just not going to be powerful enough to threaten a Boma. I'm going to get a free Leech off here. I think he goes to Metagross, which after a Leech and a Protect is done for. He then goes to Lucario. I will say, I have Ice Shard on a Boma Snow. I was wondering if maybe I should just go ahead and Ice Shard the Lucario. I don't think it would have done enough damage at it's 12. I don't think 12 does. I don't think Ice Shard's doing 12 on Lucario with no investment, no attack investment on a Bulma Snow. So I just sacked Skarmory. That's kind of why I liked having Skarmory there. I go to Gengar, and he actually, did he crunch that? Yeah, he crunched the Starmie, so he thought I was going the Skarmory. So he thought I was going Gengar. At this point, I'm just chipping him away. Again, I know he's going to rock Agility here. Doesn't bother me because I know I've got a Bulma Snow in the back with Ice Shard. I was a little worried he might Roost, which is why I went to Heatran. Because obviously after a Roost, Ice Shard's not going to kill Zapdos anymore. Instead, he kind of gets the pair on the T-Bolt. I don't mind. I know I'm going to Roar. He does get the 2x2 speed to Kingdra. I think after Hazard damage and after chip damage from the Hail, Ice Shard was going to take that out, even if I didn't get that Roar off. Especially since he would have had to take Hail damage twice, basically. So then he goes to Kingdra. He's going to Rain Dance. I'll just go ahead and take him out since I know Empoleon, I'm going to be able to reset Hail. And I do. Empoleon, once again, doing nothing to a Boma. I'm going to finish it off with a still powerful Stab Woodhammer, even with no investment. So that was my match. I was happy to not have any pressure this week, thanks to my amazing teammates that kind of took the pressure away from the situation. But, overall, I thought it was a pretty good match, a good chance to try out a team I don't usually use. I don't usually run a Boma Snow or really any sort of slow hazard stack team like this, and it was fun. I wouldn't call this semi-stall quite. I would call this probably just balance, bulky balance with hazard stacking. So definitely a good match. Looking forward to more DPP matches this year. I will certainly take one from next week, not my own match because I don't love doing my own matches and do a commentary on it. But that should do it for now. So until next week, I will see y'all later.